My name's Pam Tanowitz.
All right, Pam, and what do you do? In your own words, what do you do?
I'm a choreographer. I'm a choreographer based in New York City. I work with a group of my own dancers, as well as New York City Ballet and other modern companies throughout the country. I also teach choreography at Rutgers University.
Wonderful. How long have you been doing that? Choreography itself, dancing.
Oh, I started choreographing my junior year of college at Ohio State University.
Go Buckeyes, right?
I've never been to one football game.
We'll try not to hold that against you. Okay, we'll try. All right, Pam, so we're here to talk about your latest project. Tell me a little bit about it.
It's called New Work for Goldberg Variations. It's set to the iconic Goldberg Variations by Bach. It's a collaboration between myself and the pianist Simone Dinnerstein. And it's a work where the piano sits in the middle of the stage, and the dance was created around it. It's based on the music, so everything comes from the score. So what better way to show that in the structure of the dance than putting the piano in the center?
Yeah, and what's that collaboration been like with Simone?
Simone, it was pretty unconventional in the idea that she came to me. A lot of times choreographers choose a piece of music and then search and seek out a musician to play it. And it was actually the opposite. This time Simone had seen some of my work, reached out to me and said, would you like to collaborate? And I thought, well, that's interesting. I've never been in that situation before. And the funny thing is she explained to me, she said to me, these are the scores I play. And I said, well, I'm definitely not going to do the Goldberg Variations. It's too iconic. It's too much history. There's too much to deal with there. And then I said, well, maybe that's why I should do it.
Yeah.
To give it a fresh voice, a contemporary take.
And for someone who doesn't know about that history and the background of the Goldberg Variations, how would you describe that to them?
That's a good question. I mean, I think that actually everybody knows the Goldberg Variations, whether they know it or not. This is one of my most accessible dances I've created. And, people, clean their houses to the Goldberg Variations. They hear it in movies, even if they don't, a lot of movies use it. It's famous for Glenn Gould's interpretation of it. The famous choreographer Jerry Robbins created a work to it. So there was a lot already embedded in that history. But I think that having two female artists sort of dismantle it is what we were after.
Amazing. And can we talk specifically about the dancing itself? How many dancers will be joining you tomorrow night?
There's 8 dancers. And the dancers, I also collaborate with the dancers. So not only in the studio, Simone and I were in the studio with the dancers, and it's an ongoing dialogue. I'll come up with some steps. Simone will play, a part of the music where it's supposed to go. The dancers will try it. Maybe it doesn't work. We shift it. We all work together. So it really is a full-on collaboration. That with the costumes and the lighting, it really, there's no hierarchy. We're all sort of making this work together.
Yeah, amazing. And then the show is one night only.
It is one night only in Cleveland, yes.
What do you say to the person that's on the fence about coming out?
I say, put a little, get a little art in your life. Why don't you come and hear some music? If you don't love the dance, you can close your eyes and listen to the music. I actually think that the dance will make you hear the music differently, and I think that's a reason to come out.
And you said it yourself, put a little art in your life. We've gone so long, with the pandemic and everything that's happened.
Yeah.
What does it feel like to you to be back, touring and performing again?
Well, what it is not only am I incredibly grateful to be able to do it again, even, you realize how quickly something can be taken away. And from what I've learned and the dancers, and I think everyone, is you can't take anything for granted. And I don't take the audience for granted. And if and every time someone comes out now and they have to sit in the audience with a mask to see something, a piece of work that I've made or someone else, that's special. That means a lot.
Absolutely. And for the people that do come out tomorrow night, what do you hope that they walk away with after the performance?
I think that I hope they walk away with a new way of hearing the music, a new way of viewing art and dance as an active participant. So when I say that this work is my most accessible piece of work, I still require, it's entertaining, but there's thinking, and I hope that when the audience leaves, they're still thinking about the piece and they're not like thinking about what they're going to eat for dinner.
Do you feel like, you kind of mentioned how that mindset changed for you in the way that you attacked this dance. Can you talk to that a little bit more? Like how your approach to this choreography was different than your previous projects?
Good question. I think, my approach is through a contemporary lens, which means that I take certain traditional and codified movements and break them down and put a new frame on them. So again, not taking certain things for granted about where to place the piano or where a dancer's looking, to having the piece be at once the dance in itself, but also an experiment and in real time. Every time we perform it, it's different. Nothing's improvised, but because there's living, breathing dancers and living, breathing musician on stage, it's never going to be the same twice, and that's a reason to come.